And welcome back. What a fun conversation that was with Lindsay Harris, huh? You know, you saw right there between Lindsay and me the key to success in business. Build the relationship first. Build the connection first. Then, later on, if you get to do business together, fantastic, because now you're doing business, people are getting paid, and you've made a new friend. And if you don't get the contract or do the transaction, fantastic, because you've made a new friend. And I made a new friend there with Lindsay. Speaking of friends, our friend, my friend, and yours is back, and we're going to be talking about a particular emotion that cripples so many of us and what we can do to help relieve that. Of course, I'm talking about the founder of Sumantra Holistic, my good friend Emilia Yonge. Emilia, how are you doing on this fine Friday?
Hi, I'm doing well, thank you.
Excellent, very, very good. You know, you were mentioning to me in the break that you've got a few things going on, some upcoming events and activities and so forth. Why don't you share a little with us about that?
Well, this month, at the end of this month, we are planning to have a men's drum circle at the Katie House of Healing. And so that is exciting because, you know, you often hear about women's drum circles, but not so much men's drum circles.
Okay, yes. I know some of our viewers may not be familiar with the concept of a drum circle. Can you talk about that a bit?
Yes, Drum Circle is a community building group event that is really excellent for creating connection among people in the community, and also it's great for mental health. And I learned about drum circles when I was living in Los Angeles, California, and I was involved with the Remo Recreational Music Center, which was headed by Remo Belli himself, who was the one who invented the synthetic drum head. He was a legend in his time. Yes.
Wow. Remo, yes, of course, Remo drums.
Yes, that's right.
I know Remo drums.
That's right.
Oh, how about that? So it's a way of using rhythm.
Yes.
And music.
Yes.
To help balance ourselves, to help heal ourselves mentally, emotionally.
Correct.
Oh, fantastic.
And rhythm is extremely important. When you really think about it, everything is rhythm, like breathing, for example, your heartbeat, right? And your circadian rhythm, your body clock, that is, which is, by the way, very off ever since we, came up with electricity. I mean, electricity is great, but, there are some repercussions. So, yeah.
I have heard that before about how our in this modern society, how our circadian rhythms have been altered, changed, disrupted by the fact that we can now stay up all night if we want to.
Exactly.
And would you say, from your research, your knowledge, would you say that humans are essentially oriented to daylight or night, or is it just a matter of nurture, how their lives go along?
Well, the thing is that the energy centers, some of them actually they need to receive sunlight in order to function properly. So if you are sleeping in the daytime, then you're going to miss out on that source of energy. Do you see what I'm saying? And what I'm noticing with people is that there are so many people with insomnia, problems sleeping. So there you go.
So I see. So that would seem to suggest that humans tend to do better in daylight.
Yes, for activities, because of the source of energy of the sun. Yeah, because the energy of the sun is very different from the energy of the moon.
That is true.
Yeah.
That's very true. And it's interesting that you mentioned the energy of the sun, of the moon, of daylight, and of human beings needing the energy produced by daylight. We're now coming out of a period in our society, at least here in the United States, where people have, for a variety of reasons, been deprived
Yes.
of daylight. You know, with everything that's gone on with COVID and so forth, people have been staying indoors.
Yes.
In times and for lengths of time where they would not normally do. And so perhaps people have been deprived of that energy source. And the other thing, I know you and I have talked about this a little bit off camera, Emilia, about the whole notion that over the past couple of years particularly, there has been this sort of growing wave or undercurrent of fear.
Yes.
With so many people in our society, for a variety of reasons and causes and all of that. But it seems to me it's become, for some people, almost habitual now that they just live their lives in fear, fearful of what might happen to them, fearful of disease, fearful of illness, in some cases, heaven help us, fearful of our fellow humans. And so fear becomes, we all know, or at least we've all heard, how debilitating fear can be. But I would love it if you could talk about how you've helped, through your techniques, through your healing ministry, how you have helped people to deal with, to overcome and come out of their fear.
Well,
maybe even a little something about how fear can affect our bodies. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you.
No. Fear does affect our bodies. Actually, if you read a book that was written maybe about 30 years ago by Candace Pert, she wrote a book called Molecules of Emotion, and it talks about how our bodies are indeed affected by emotions. For example, the endocrine system, right, the glands and all that, it will react to messages, to signals in the body, in order to, to bring the body into a state of balance. But if the message that it's receiving is there's something wrong with that communication process, then your body might do things that it shouldn't be doing. It won't be healthy.
So our emotional state can affect our body's hormone balance and things like this.
And like, for example, in my case, when I was going through the breast cancer journey, I was not afraid. I had a really great attitude. And so my mental fitness during that period, I believe, played a large part in my success during the treatment. All the treatments were very effective on me. I was very responsive to all the treatments, whereas other people had all kinds of stuff going on, like side effects and whatever. So yes, your mind definitely has a huge impact on your body. And in fact, just the other day, I was working on a young lady, and because I see her every week and I assess her energy field every week, I can tell when her energy field is fully expanded, which is a healthy thing, or when it is contracted. And yes, and sure enough, when I assessed her first thing in the morning, when I saw her, her energy field was contracted because she had had a terrible argument with her boyfriend, and it made her shut down. But after just about 30 minutes of talking with me, I did not do any intervention, her energy field expanded and all her energy centers opened up. And that's how powerful the impact of interacting with other people is to your body. You see, being with toxic people will make you feel bad. Being with someone who has good energy will make you feel good.
I see. And so you mentioned that in this case with this particular client, you were able to assist her without any intervention on your part. Now, for someone, as we in our last couple of minutes here, for someone where you are performing an intervention or something of that nature, how Can you share a little bit how that
Yes.
process would go?
Well, it's very easy. Remember the wonderful technique I mentioned to you before, the mind clearing really
Yes.
helps. And another thing about mind clearing is that one of the hand positions is right here.
Oh,
And
yes.
what this does is, because there are nerves here that are connected to the vagus nerve, which is the longest nerve in the body, and it is related to the autonomic nervous system. And so when you're afraid, when you don't feel safe, you are on that fight or flight mode,
Yes,
right?
yes.
And so by doing this, stopping breathing, you are helping your autonomic nervous system return to the parasympathetic mode, which is the rest and relax. So that's one thing that you can do just for yourself. In fact, you know,
Interesting.
when you feel overwhelmed, anxious, afraid, do this. Pause, breathe, a couple minutes, and you'll feel calmer. So anyone can do this
Interesting.
anytime.
That is so.
Yes. And another thing that is really great
Yes.
for dispelling fear and getting rid of all the accumulated fear from the past 2 years and being disconnected from people is to come to a drum circle.
Drum circle, a men's
Yes.
drum circle, which is coming up
Yes.
at the end of this month.
And we do have women's drum circles every second Wednesday at Katie House of Healing, and full moon drum circles, which is coming up Friday next week.
Fantastic. Samantra Holistic at gmail.com. Best way, 832-477-0407. Emilia, thank you so much. You always bring so much value and so much healing and the studio always feels a little calmer when you're here.
Don't forget those.
Thank you again so much, Emilia. Great to see you as always. And now